And now, RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show.
Good evening and welcome to RSM, Rams Sports Magazine Show. I'm your host, Anthony Keith. It is a great week to be a Rams fan as the football team is now #1 in the Mountain West Conference and the volleyball team upset #5 Nebraska. So there's no better way to start this show out than looking at highlights from that Nebraska match.
A new Moby record as more than 6,700 fans poured in, more in white than in red. The Rammies dropped the first two sets 25-12 and 25-11. It appeared as though there was no hope for the green and gold as a sea of red began to overtake. But the inexperienced team proved its maturity as CSU fought back, claiming the third set 25-16 and the fourth 25-20. So I'm going to jump us right into the end of the fifth set. CSU was up 11-8. Setter Deidre Foss attempts a little sneak attack. Fails, but why not try again? This is the Foss's house, ladies and gentlemen. Rams go up 12-8. Foss to serve, and when Big Red set up the offensive, it resulted in an attacker error long. The Rammies were now up 13-8. Victory in sight. The Cornhuskers claim a point, but so do the Rams with another Nebraska attacker error, and we're at 14-9. Match point. Head coach Tom Hilbert still not cracking a smile, not even a little one. The crowd of 6,700 was rocking Moby the entire night, every person on their feet as Izzy Gaia prepares to serve what is hopefully the last of the night. Nebraska puts up a nice set on the attack, but Megan Plord and Tori Brummett put up a wall, and the celebration begins. I'll let Coach Hilbert take it from here.
You know, I will tell you this. Volleyball is a game that is best played comfortably, okay? There's a whole lot of rhythm and tempo that's required and bodies that have to move and accelerate and timing. And when that is disrupted, it changes a team. And I think this was a tale of two teams getting disrupted in that we started out, Nebraska was playing extremely well. And the tempo of their offense was a step ahead of what we were doing, and we genuinely looked as bad as I've seen us look. And the credit goes to them. I don't want to make it sound like, you know, we were just terrible. We were terrible because they're really good. And Lauren Cook was setting a great match. Their hitters, they hit exceptional numbers, and we didn't block. And if we're not blocking, we aren't good, because that's the best thing that we do. And so after the second game, our message to the players was to go out and try to see the game a little bit better. I think in a way we were kind of mesmerized by the fact that we're playing Nebraska, and you know, there's whatever, how many thousand people were there, what do we count that at? So, yeah, so I think, you know, we came out in the third game, we put more service pressure on them, created some situations for them, and we blocked them. So now they're not as comfortable, and we're getting more comfortable. And before you know it, you know, the crowd's into it. Nebraska's feeling some pressure, and we come back and win 3. And you know, we're a good volleyball team. We can score points on people, and I was very proud of some people that came off the bench today. Kayla Thomas and Tori Brummett made a difference for us, a huge difference that helped us win this game. And then, you know, there were some great performances by a lot of people, but, you know, I don't know. I just feel very strongly Megan Plord consistently is good, and we kind of went away from her. I would like to see her get more sets today, but you know, we just did some good things in the last 3 games in terms of service pressure and blocking, gave us more, and ball handled better, gave us more ball handling opportunities, and as a result, we end up winning.
The volleyball squad wasn't the only CSU team with a big win over the weekend. Coming up after the break, hear from head coach Steve Fairchild from his press conference earlier this week.
You are watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to the show, Rams fans. The CSU football team won a thriller over the weekend against New Mexico, 14-10, and that puts them at the top of the Mountain West Conference. Here's what head coach Steve Fairchild had to say on Monday.
All right, with regards to last Saturday's game, I was very pleased with the effort which we played. I liked our preparation all week, particularly the last 48 hours as we got ready for that football game. And probably the biggest thing we can take away from that game is maybe in the last couple of years we'd have found a way to lose that game, but we kept playing hard, maybe a little confident that something good would happen, and found a way to win a tight game, not only a tight game, but a conference game and a road game at that. So defensively, obviously the sack total was big. I thought we tackled very well. That's always a concern in an opening ball game, particularly when we were thudding as much as we were. I thought we played with some speed. You can tell we're a little bit faster on the defense side of the ball. We didn't fit the run game in the defensive line particularly well at times, and that allowed to some explosive runs. I think if we fit it the way we planned, I think we could have shut them down. And also the three big penalties defensively hurt us. Offensively, no turnovers, one penalty, and anytime you can win those things on the road, that's key. I like the way we ran the ball. Statistically, there was a lot more we could have had, but just our pad level and who we were getting on and so forth. I liked our run game. Our controlled passing game, first and second down, was decent. We were very, very poor on third down. And again, that's an area of concern, something we've got to improve on. Special teams wise, I thought we covered well. And returned well in both those areas. We had an edge. We did not strike the ball very well, and that's an area of concern. I think Pete and Ben had kicked the ball well all camp, but that needs to be improved, and I'm quite sure they'll do that. So, having said that, not really interested in style points. Just the fact we were able to go on the road and get a conference win's big for our program.
Defensive side of the ball, I'm joined by Nordley Cappy, who's a defensive end who had one of the best games I've seen out of a Ram in a long time. He had 4 forced fumbles. Now, tell me, what was going through your head during that game?
Going through my head is trying to make a play, get the ball out of the quarterback's hand. I got great pressure on him all game. It was really a team effort. The whole team got pressure on him, and when I got close enough, I just swatted the ball out.
So after you got 1, you got 2, what were you thinking when you hit 3 and 4?
I was thinking, this can't be happening. I can't believe it. I didn't really know that towards the end of the game. Somebody told me when I was on the plane ride home. As I was talking to my friend, he was like, whoa, he got 1, all right, he got 2. He was pretty much saying the same thing you said. So that had me laughing. It was a pretty amazing moment in my life.
I mean, that was a nail biter. It's because of you, you're able to stop the New Mexico offense at the end. They were making a drive. Some fans back home, they were getting a little nervous, but just another one. That's that 4th one right there. How's that feel, knowing that you ended the game for your team?
That felt fantastic. We all want to get that W, get the season off to a great start. We was able to do that in the first week. Now we're just preparing on getting that second win this week.
Mountain West Conference Defensive Player of the Week. What does that honor mean?
It means a lot. That's actually my first ever Player of the Week throughout my whole life, so I'm pretty excited about that. I came pretty close in high school a few times, but this is my first time actually winning, so it feels fantastic.
That truly is awesome. And then a national award on top of that. I mean, were you expecting that this week?
No, I wasn't expecting that. I was actually expecting that. I think the linebacker from Michigan, I see he had a pretty good game. So when they told me I won, I was happy. We actually barbecued off that. So I got me a good meal off of that.
You deserved one, I'll tell you that right now. But checking the depth chart out this week, you're number 2. They brought it up to Fairchild earlier on Monday, and he said, it's not really a depth chart. Whoever's playing well, whoever's out there, having that much depth on this team, knowing that, anybody on your team can make plays on the defense, what does that mean?
That's a really great feeling. If the guy behind you or in front of you gets tired, if you have trust in that first or second guy to come in and still do his job, that's a great feeling. When teams go on that 12, 15-play drive, it really helps to have 2-man rotation.
You guys are number 1 in the Mountain West Conference right now. So I'm going to say, take that, Boise State. Take that. Number 1 in the Mountain West, does that mean anything to the team, or is it just an afterthought right now?
Nah, it's really, we'd like to keep it that way. We're not looking to come 3rd, 4th. We're actually looking to stay on top, taking it 1 game at a time. So, yeah, hopefully we get to stay on top at the end of the season.
Now, with the win, there was a little bit of bad news. Broderick Sargent out with the knee, a fellow D-end, and, it looks like he's going to be out for his junior season. They're expecting a lot out of him this year. How hard is that on you?
That's real hard. Broderick's one of our best defensive ends. He was one that part of a two-man rotation, so we had to make a few changes, but hopefully get a year back. So hopefully he'll be with us next year, helping us dominate on D-line.
Now with the team, you were part of 3.5 sacks against that New Mexico Lobos team. So how is the defensive chemistry this season?
Oh, it's real. All the guys hang out after practice. We watch film together. We don't necessarily watch film all the time with coaches. We just go back home. We have little meetings, watch film, really study teams. It's a lot different from last year's team. There's a lot of belief on this team that we can get the job done this year.
Now this week you got the UNC Bears. They're right down the road. CSU hasn't played them since 1986, so it's not really an in-state rivalry, but it means a lot to the students. What does it mean to you?
It means a lot, man. Sometimes, we go out, we see those guys, they talking they're going to beat us. They knew we had us on the schedule. They're saying this and that. I'm just really shut those guys up, really put it like that.
There you go. Well, one thing they did is they overlooked Lindenwood looking at you guys. That's one thing their coach told me. Are you afraid that some of the teammates are going to do that looking towards CU, that this might be a little, a stepping stone to that CU game?
No, we're taking it 1 week at a time. Our main focus on UNC. And then after the UNC, then we're going to, whether it was a win or lose, then we're going to start focusing on CU. We're taking this whole season 1 week at a time, man. I like to keep it that way.
And stay undefeated the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining. Oh, he's good at that. That's a forced fumble right there. He's good. But I want to wish you good luck. It's an orange out this Saturday, so we expect everybody to be in their orange, including you. I'm sure you look good in the orange. But stay tuned because there's still plenty more coming on RSM. It's coming up after the break. I go to the other side of the ball on the offense and talk to tight end Crockett Gilmore. Stay tuned.
You're watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
And welcome back to the show, Rams fans. I pulled tight end Crockett Gilmore aside after practice on Wednesday as we spoke one-on-one about his performance against New Mexico on Saturday. This week, I'm joined by tight end Crockett Gilmore, who had a 33-yard reception against New Mexico. I mean, that was a big part of the win of that game. What was going through your head when that ball was up from Pete and in your arms?
Whenever I broke on the out route, I'd seen the safety just kind of sitting there, and I knew he wasn't supposed to throw it, but I was thinking throw it anyway. So when he did, I was excited, and I just kind of bodied that corner up and went up for it.
Now, you know Pete well through practice. A lot of the fans are wondering, why doesn't Coach let him bomb it more like that? It was kind of a 50-50 ball. Do you know why we don't see more of that?
It's early in the season. I mean, if we have to do it later on, then we will, but we're a run-the-ball team, and that's what we're going to do. So just let us run until we can't run anymore, and then if we have to throw, we'll
and then let the tight ends take care of the real business. I didn't say that for the running backs. No, but snapping an 11-game road losing streak, what did that mean to the team afterwards?
A lot of the guys weren't here for last season, the young guys, and they didn't understand, what that meant to the program. But from being a freshman and going through those losses, it's miserable. So just to come out and get a big win like that, it didn't matter how ugly it was as long as we got the win.
Very true. Now, Coach mentioned earlier this week in his press conference that on the sidelines, even when you guys were down, he saw in your eyes that you guys felt like you were going to win. Did it feel that way on the sideline the whole time, like we got this game?
It really did. I mean, if we got a turnover or something, they got the ball back, I was like, put our defense out there. They're playing a hell of a game. Let them go. So, when we're flying around, just let them go. Everybody's very excited and just wanting to be out there, so it wasn't slowing us down.
It's got to be a great feeling. Now you're coming from D-end to tight end. How's that transition been?
At first, I had kind of slow start with getting the offense down, but now I feel great. And, I mean, last year when I was playing defensive end, I'm looking at this tight end, seeing how big he is. Like, I'm bigger than that guy. I can play for them, so I'm very excited.
Word on the street is that it was your mom that approached Coach Fairchild on this and said, no, you make my boy a tight end. Is that true? Is that how it went about?
I guess Coach Duffy had gone back to Bushland for a basketball game my sister was playing, and she had just said, how's the season going? And he said, we're going to be good, don't worry about it. She said, well, you'd be a lot better if you put Crockett at tight end.
Oh, that's awesome.
She never told me that, we just, we work, do our job, and I was kind of surprised that she said that, but I guess
after this last game, it worked. She obviously knows best. I mean, and there is a brother on the team, and you guys maybe have the first start if everything goes as planned. 2 brothers making the first start since '04. What does that mean, having your older brother on the team?
It was awesome. I mean, we got to start last week, and just having him right there, a couple times in the huddle, I'm hitting him or whatever. we're just looking at each other like, all right, let's go. And we trust each other. We're flying around, and he was the first one that ran up to me after the touchdown. So
who's
awesome.
the better football player between you two?
Uh,
That's my question now.
I think we're a package deal, so I can't answer that.
That's a very safe answer. Now, looking ahead this week, we got UNC. It's an in-state team, not really a rivalry, though. I mean, you guys haven't played this team since 1986, so this is new territory to you guys. But for the students, it's a huge game.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
I mean, to me, it's just another step forward to a great season. We got to come out and put it to them and, start our home win streak off right, because it's been ugly.
Definitely.
So we need to get that bad taste out of Fort Collins' mouth.
Well, how strong is this offense this season?
We've yet to see. I mean, practice, we can be All-Americans, but until you put it in the game, it doesn't matter.
I like hearing that. It's very true for a lot of teams, and hopefully you guys can put it together this Saturday. It is going to be an orange out, so you guys will be sporting the orange out there.
Yep.
I want to wish you the best of luck against the Bears and for the rest of the season. Don't go anywhere just yet, Rams fans. Coming up after the break, I speak with sophomore Tori Brummett of the volleyball team. Stay tuned.
You are watching RSM, the Rams Sports Magazine Show on Northern Colorado 5.
Welcome back to Rams Sports Magazine Show. Last Friday, the CSU volleyball team upset number 5 Nebraska, and they owe plenty of thanks to sophomore Tori Brummett, who came off the bench and helped the Rams claim sets 3, 4, and 5. So I spoke with her earlier this week. Now that you've seen the highlights in the Nebraska match, I want to meet one of the heroes of that night. She came off the bench, and I mean, you guys were down 25-12 in that first set, 25-11, then you come back and win. What was going through your mind after those first 2 sets, Tori?
Basically, I mean, I knew they were like a great team and everything, but I mean, we just weren't playing CSU volleyball is what we described. And so after the second match, after the 10-minute break, we kind of gathered ourselves and then said, we kind of switched a few people up and then kind of gathered ourselves and just went out and played what we know how to play volleyball.
Define CSU volleyball to me.
Let's see. Basically, it's like we are focused on our blocking, we're focused on our defense, we talk a lot to each other, we're just constantly figuring out what the other side is doing, and I guess the first 2 games we weren't on point as much as we could be, so.
You got a 571 attack percentage. I mean, that's ridiculous against a number 5 team, Nebraska. How do you feel you did personally on that night?
I'm actually kind of speechless because that's basically the first time that I've come off of the bench. Basically, that's my first real game, and coming off and then hitting that percentage and having no errors and all that kind of stuff. It's I'm still at loss of words. So.
Before that match, talking to some of the other girls, they just kept hitting on Moby Magic, Moby Magic. Was that Moby Magic that night?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, and with 6,750 fans, I think, that was definitely a record, and just all of our fans screaming and yelling, that's definitely a Moby Magic.
What was that like, having everybody just come out of their seats, rush the court? You guys are jumping, chanting CSU. Spider-Man was in attendance.
Yeah,
I mean,
I saw that. It was an instant sauna for me. It was just a swarm of people coming. I had chills. I mean, I've never, ever since I've been here, I've never had that happen. I mean, even when we played in the Washington match, nothing like that ever happened. And so for all of our students to come up and do that, it was just amazing.
Now, before this season, obviously the loss of Jackie Davis and Danielle Minch, Evan Sanders deciding to leave. You guys come in ranked number 15, and it's kind of a skeptical, are we sure we should be 15? How do you feel about that now that you're number 14 after, you kind of been tested a few times?
Well, I definitely think that we've earned it. Coming in 15th, and we were kind of talking about it in the beginning, we haven't really served a ball yet, so it's kind of hard for them to really say, oh yeah, we're 15th in the nation, yeah, we're so good, and then we lost to Oklahoma, who was 16th, so we're okay, let's see how these things go. And then coming off of this Nebraska win, it was just okay, we can do this, we can, and we do deserve to be here, so.
Obviously, those rating guys know what they're doing. Who knows what they're doing, but they're doing it right. But
yeah.
Looking at this week, you guys got the Ram Classic. You got 3 home matches in a row. What does that mean to you guys being able to play for the crowd 3 nights in a row?
That's awesome. I mean, I don't know. We are usually trying to get a lot of people. We always promote our games and stuff. I don't know how many people are gonna come out for Thursday matches. I usually know Friday matches are a lot bigger than Thursday matches, and then of course Saturdays. And after, of course, on Saturday we have the football game. Then we have our volleyball match, so it's like, okay, everybody come out to our game. You know, you're already in your orange. It's our orange out game. So, I mean, just try to get like a lot of people to come out for each and every game. I don't think it'll be a big problem, especially coming off that Nebraska win, and everybody knows how well we can play. So
you guys really feed off that crowd. That's an important thing. So people out there be taking notes, show up, cheer. They need you out there. This Saturday, UNC, it's an in-state rival. You're one of the younger ones on the team. What does that rivalry mean? I mean, the Bears, they were predicted to win the Big Sky this year. They're not a bad team.
Yeah.
What's that in-state rivalry mean to you?
Just means we have to go out and play how we know to and know how to, and just like, I mean, compete at our best, you know, do what we're supposed to do, you know, do our scout team and all that kind of stuff, and we should be able to take them, I think.
After that show against Nebraska, how confident are you in this team?
I'm very confident. I mean, I've never not been confident in my team, but, you know, after this kind of win and it shows like, hey, we can come back after a 2-0 deficit, like, we obviously can do it. So, I mean, it just boosted my confidence.
Last question, going back to that celebration, was that one of the best matches of your life? Is that something that's a milestone in your career?
Oh, most definitely. I will absolutely never forget that match, especially since that's my first match that I've actually, you know, really played in and, you know, performed. So, I mean, it's just I remember like the Washington match, but it wasn't like a milestone for me particularly, just because I was, you know, like on the bench and everything. But definitely, I think it'll be it's my story. It's one for the books.
I think I speak for everyone when I say we hope to see you come off the bench a lot more like that. I mean, it was just a crazy environment, definitely a milestone for CSU's volleyball program. That'll do it this week for RSM, but tune in next week as I recap the UNC-CSU football game and the UNC-CSU volleyball match. Catch you next week.